Hello, everybody. Welcome to TOI Sports, where we are once again with you, bringing you the daily cricket show called Beyond the Boundary. Champions Trophy 2025, the final is upon us, and just a couple of days to go, less than 48 hours for the big clash between India and New Zealand. And to look ahead to that contest, I've got with me two of my colleagues, Nitin Naik from Mumbai, and straight from Dubai, right outside the Indian practice session is Gaurav Gupta. And yeah, there he is. Gaurav finally joining us from Dubai. So Gaurav, what's the update before we get into the topic for the day? What's the update from Dubai? Have the Black Caps landed? Have they trained? Has the Indian team trained? What's happening?
Yeah, so the Black Caps landed here last night, and they are not having a practice session today. They're going to practice tomorrow night under lights. They've chosen to rest today completely. Their head coach Gary said spoke to the media today in the morning and said a few things. He obviously rated Varun Chakravarti as a big threat to his team. And at the same time, he clarified that he was not sure basically about the fitness status of his lead of the New Zealand's leading fast bowler and the leading wicket taker of the competition, Matt Henry, which is a big boost for India if he doesn't play. And obviously he's pretty confident with the way New Zealand have been playing in the tournament so far, and they've been the one team that have not cribbed at all about the traveling and this whole messed up scheduling which has seen New Zealand has been at the complete deep end of this whole problem, wherein they've had to shuttle back and forth from New Zealand and from Pakistan to Dubai and back to Pakistan. So they've coped with it pretty well. That has been the update with the New Zealand team. The Indian team is supposed to practice here in some time now from around 6 in the evening. That is when the Indian team's batting coach Shitanshu Kotak is going to address a press conference. And before that, I must tell you that. We had a bit of information about the pitch coming in for the final, all important pitch for the big final, and the pitch is the same one on which the India Pakistan match was played on 2 Sundays ago. So it's a semi-fresh pitch. It should not be really a tired pitch or a pitch on which you'll find stroke making difficult and all that. But still, this is the first time that a used pitch will be used for a match, because in case of all four of India's previous matches, the fresh pitch was used, including the for the semi-final, which was a very good batting track actually. In Australia made 264, India chased down 265 by the last over. And the pitch for the India Pakistan match was obviously also a reasonably good wicket. Pakistan scored to 40 something, and India chased down the target pretty easily. So all in all, this is the update from Dubai.
Thanks a lot, Gaurav, for that live update from Dubai. Nitin, looking at what New Zealand are doing, Matt Henry being iffy for Sunday's final. How big a blow is that for New Zealand?
A huge blow, Chandresh. He's been the one bowler that has troubled India. I think Rohit Sharma would be very happy if he doesn't turn up fit because he's had Rohit's number even in the test matches that they played in India, as well as he produced that beauty in the 2019 semi-final in Manchester also. I think he was the man of the match in that semi-final. Matt Henry has always he's got a beautiful action for an outswinger. So he troubles. He has a good record even against Virat Kohli. So I feel that Matt Henry would be a huge loss, because then they will have to bring a relative newcomer, maybe a Duffy, or maybe play an extra what maybe they might play Chapman, who who can bowl a bit of spin as well as bat. So that will create some headaches for them, or maybe it might be a blessing in disguise for them also, because that may just allow them to play Devon Conway, who I think is their best player of spin bowling apart from Kane Williams.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. And this is the squad we have of New Zealand. They've also had a few changes to their squad since the start of the tournament, with Ben Sears coming in for Lockie Ferguson and a couple of other injuries as well. We've got Sahil joining us from Dubai as well. not too far from where Gigi is. He's making sure he's not too close to Gigi. Sahil, what's the update from there? We've had a long update from Gigi. What's your take on the New Zealand camp?
Gigi was there. Gigi attended the press conference in the morning today. I was hunting pictures for Gigi because his pitch missile was ready to be fired, and you will get those exclusive visuals because just 10 minutes before coming to the ICC Academy, I did a round of the Dubai International Stadium, and Gigi is absolutely spot on when it comes to the pitch which will be used. It will be a semi-fresh pitch, as you can see on the screen there. It's a center wicket, and for broadcasters, Chandresh Bhai knows it better than all of us that it makes a lot of sense to have a center wicket when the ground is equidistant from both ends, from both sides of the pitch. So it will be a center wicket which will be used, and the ECB has long maintained that they wanted 2 weeks rest before any pitch is used in this tournament. Even the pitches which were used in the ILT20, they ensured to not use them for 2 weeks before the Champions Trophy scheduled matches were going to be played there. So that is the policy which they have followed for the final also. India-Pakistan game was played on February 23rd. So if you count on your fingers, it's nearly 2 weeks rest which the pitch got. So even though it sounds like a semi-fresh pitch, but they've ensured to keep it fresh for this title clash. The square is still tired. It is still sluggish. Don't expect the pitch to kind of give you smelling the leather kind of deliveries. It will still be on the sluggish lines, but it has had the amount of rest they wanted to for any Champions Trophy clash.
I'm telling you, any Bollywood producer would be thrilled to see the brotherhood, bromance between Gaurav and Sahil, all for the cause of one thing only: to get better coverage for everybody watching it here on digital and reading in print. Thanks a lot, both of you, for all your hard work. We appreciate it completely. Gaurav, looking at the squad that New Zealand have, they seem to match India man for man. If you look at their squad, they have, in fact, they have one extra bowling option because of the fact that Rachin Ravindra can also bowl. So they have equal amount of depth in their lineup like India. They have the all rounders. What is it that you think will separate New Zealand from India on Sunday?
वेल चंद्रेश आई थिंक न्यूजीलैंड के पास भी उतनी डेप्थ है, इस बात सही है जितनी इंडिया के पास है इन टर्म्स ऑफ bowling options and a deep batting lineup. They've got a Michael Bracewell, I think, coming at number 7 or number 8, if I'm not mistaken. And Rachin Ravindra is in the form of his life. He's been absolutely brilliant in ICC tournaments, as we saw in the 2023 ODI World Cup as well. A very free flowing left hander. And as Nitin pointed out the last time, that अगर वो लोग डेविन कॉनवे को खिलाते हैं विल यंग को बिठा के, तो शायद और ज्यादा पोटेंट हो जाएगा उनका बैटिंग लाइनअप, और ज्यादा खतरनाक हो जाएगा. बिकॉज डेविन कॉनवे इज ऑल्सो फ्री फ्लोइंग प्लेयर, somebody because he's been playing for CSK, उनको काफी experience है subcontinental conditions का. So I think that will sort of give them even more muscle in the batting department. Daryl Mitchell is somebody we don't talk about him too much. He's got 200s against India in the 23 ODI World Cup when New Zealand played against us, lost both times but competed hard. Kane Williamson obviously, I think, मुझे लगता है, मैंने आज न्यूजीलैंड के कोच को भी ये पूछा कि जिस तरह से वो दो तीन ओडीआई रिटायरमेंट हमने देखी, स्टीव स्मिथ की और मुशफिकुर रहमान की, मुशफिकुर रहीम की, मुझे लगता है कि शायद केन विलियमसन भी ये एक स्टेज चुन सकते हैं टू गो फ्रॉम द ओडीआई सीन. So and he's been in brilliant form again. That wonderful 100 that he scored against South Africa in the semi-finals tells us that he's back in his regal touch. So I think it's a very extremely dangerous batting lineup, which is capable of doing much better than what it did against India the last time. I thought 362 for 6 amply reflected their batting powers, but then obviously that was a flat pitch in Pakistan, and this pitch is not going to be that easy for them to score. And the Varun factor is not going to playing Varun again on the same ground where they succumbed to him completely, which I expected them to, on this Dubai pitch. आई थिंक इतना आसान नहीं होगा उनके लिए वरुण को खेलना इस विकेट पे भी. बहुत कुछ वरुण पे डिपेंड करेगा और उसको कैसा खेलते हैं. बट दे डू हैव द बैटिंग फायर पावर टू अगेन पुट अप अ डिसेंट स्कोर. देखिए यहाँ पर 270 280 अगर बना दिया न्यूजीलैंड ने, तो इट्स गोइंग टू बी अ वेरी टफ आस्क फॉर इंडिया, एंड दिस विल बी अ मैच which will be which can go anywhere after, well, if New Zealand puts up a decent score.
Nitin, nearly 25 years ago, India and New Zealand faced off in the final of what was then called the ICC knockout Trophy, and now it is the ICC Champions Trophy. At that time as well, in the final, India appeared to have the ascendancy, and then we had the, the the side of Chris Gaines demolishing India in that final with 100. A year before that, in New Zealand, also in a Test match and in a one-day international, he demolished India. Do you see any parallels between that Indian side and this Indian side, that New Zealand side and this New Zealand side? And I ask you specifically because do you see Glenn Phillips being the Chris Gaines of today? Nitin, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. I think Chandresh, Chris Gaines had a little bit more flair and a bit more skill, especially while playing genuine pace bowling. He played Zahir Khan and Ajit Agurkar and all beautifully. And despite I think New Zealand in the middle, I think they had lost a couple of wickets, very quickly. And I think in that final, I think India also struggled because Anil Kumble was battling a shoulder injury and he wasn't at his best. And India also, after such a brilliant start, they could not quite capitalize. Otherwise, I think they were on track to get 300 plus, and they ended up with a 260-ish kind of score. And even then, I think New Zealand were one wicket away from the tail. So uh, yes, those are painful memories because that side had countered all the match fixing allegations and the aftermath of the match fixing allegations blooded in some wonderfully talented players like Zahir Khan and Yuvraj Singh, and had progressed so well to a major final. But I think this Indian side has a little bit more skill and experience to deal with New Zealand. It will be a close competitive game, especially if New Zealand get to bat first. But funnily enough, I think Chandresh that New Zealand would want. Uh, I think both captains would want to lose the toss here because both would not want to make a wrong decision. And with Rohit's toss form, maybe uh, you know uh, the odds might be in his favor here, having lost so many tosses in a row, and unfortunately, he may end up winning a toss here and end up making a decision which whether to bat first or bowl first. He would be really confused because India have done both very well, and I feel that in a major final, it's always better to field first because you can lose a game quickly when if you have a bad first 15-20 minutes with the bat, but you can still recover if you had a bad 15-20 minutes with the ball.
Sahil, just looking at the makeup of this New Zealand lineup, uh, man for man, like I asked Gaurav, they match India. But do you think that for it's in the department of fielding that they are better than India, uh, especially someone like Glenn Phillips? I mean, he's like a superhero on the field. Do you think that's where they out last India on the field? Because India has a few slow movers on the field.
No, see, Chandresh bhai, yes, we have had a few faces you would want to hide on the field, but even after that, you see the kind of efforts which we have put in the field. Except that first game where there were a couple of sitters dropped, starting with Captain Rohit Sharma, they've looked very good as far as ground fielding is concerned. If you see all the fielding medals video, the way T. Dilip has been speaking about the outfielding in particular, why? Because that's one area because it's not that small a ground. There are angles to be explored, but they've been cutting the angles beautifully. That Shreyas Iyer direct hit was for everyone to see. But more than man-to-man marking, the fielding, I think where New Zealand hold that slight edge is the fact that their four different games have been played at four different venues: Rawalpindi, Lahore, Karachi, Dubai, and then back in Dubai. So they are the only side who will now be taking on India in Dubai with some Dubai experience under their belt. So as far as adapting to different conditions is concerned, they have aced that game. They just lost that one game against India, and we all saw that game. Had Kane Williamson got some sort of support from the other end, I think Daryl Mitchell was probably the weak link there because you would expect a player like him who plays spin so well. He was absolutely clueless against Varun, and now that he has faced him in that game, in the group stage game, and if they can just get that middle order to bat around Kane Williamson, it could be a very stiff challenge for India because they are a much better prepared side than what India have faced in Dubai. Whether it's Bangladesh, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's Australia, New Zealand would come hard at them. And Matt Henry, if he's unavailable to play, I think that could be a big blow because even on these sluggish surfaces, he made the ball talk in the first hour along with Kylie Jamieson.
Uh, Gaurav, there's one player that I am particularly keen to look forward to, and that is Rachin Ravindra. He reminds me of that dialogue from the movie Swades. अपने घर का दिया lighting neighbor's house. अपने चौखट का दिया giving light to neighbor's house. मतलब वो यहीं से गया और वहां पे जाके he's scored 500s in ICC ODI tournaments. This is just his second ICC ODI tournament. How do you stop him? Like previous game, we required a brilliant catch by Aksar to stop him. Is he going to be the big worry for India in this final? Gaurav?
Well, he is the big worry. His is going to be the big wicket. And if we don't get him out in the first 6 7 overs, then I fear that we'll be losing our grip on this match. और अगर वो 15 20 ओवर बैटिंग कर गए तो फिर तो we are looking at a big total and a lot of trouble going forward because he's batting in as I said he's batting in a very free flowing manner. He generally bats in a very free flowing manner. I mean I actually had not heard too much of him when I covered the first time I covered him, which was in the Ahmedabad in the first match of the 23 World Cup. And he was absolutely smashing in that game. He was just I think he had a huge partnership with whom I'm forgetting, but both the New Zealand batters scored hundreds in that game against England, and he pulverized the England attack. He was absolutely dominant completely. I think it was Tom Latham or somebody. So I mean, he's been an excellent sort of addition to the New Zealand squad out of nowhere. कहाँ Bangalore में वो उनके father थोड़ा बहुत खेलते थे, and he had started playing, and then they migrated to New Zealand, and he's suddenly developed into this absolutely. I think दीपक पटेल के बाद में वो सबसे बड़े न्यूजीलैंड के इंडियन ओरिजिन प्लेयर साबित हुए हैं, और मुझे लगता है दीपक पटेल को बहुत पीछे छोड़ दिया उन्होंने. 5 ODI 100s in ICC tournaments is a huge tally to have. लोगों को पूरे जन्म में 500 जो है उनके होते हैं जो उनके ऑलरेडी हो चुके हैं. So it's a terrific. I mean, he's a terrific batsman, and I in fact expected him to be sold for much more in the IPL than he eventually was. Bought by CSK. मुझे लगा कि शायद और ज्यादा मतलब हैवी जाएगा उनका परचेज because absolutely a brilliant player. Also bowls left arm spin. So definitely उनका विकेट बहुत क्रूशियल होगा. और मुझे लगता है कि शामी last time तो obviously as you said Akshay Patel took a brilliant catch of him at third man I think of a slower bouncer that Hardik bowled. So this time I think and I have a feeling that maybe अगर Washington Sundar अगर आते हैं 11 में to tackle him, then could that not be a good idea considering that he's bowled 4 times and 3 बार तो बोल्ड निकाला उन्होंने उनको टेस्ट सीरीज में जब वो यहाँ आए थे. In that test series also Rachin scored a great 100 at Bangalore, and then in the other two games he could not do much, especially in Mumbai he failed, but then all 4 times he got out I mean all the times that he got out in the next 4 test innings after the Bangalore test match was to spinners or off spinners, specifically thrice to Washington Sundar and once to Ashwin. So I don't know whether there's a case for Washington Sundar to be brought in specifically so that we can get Rachin Ravindra out early in the piece.
जीजी यहाँ आए थे वहां नहीं. Nitin, just looking at the squad that New Zealand has, looking at their spin bowling attack, especially their skipper Mitchell Santner, who troubled India in the Test series, and then Michael Bracewell is also in the lineup. Rachin Ravindra can bowl a bit of off spin. Glenn Phillips can bowl a bit of everything. He can do anything on the field. So they can match India man for man, even in the spin bowling attack.
Yeah, one of the most balanced teams of this competition, and I think they have, they picked a team for subcontinent conditions, be it in Pakistan or be it for Dubai. I think they have the personnel to to bowl against the Indian batters in any phase of a one day game. So and their attack is not one dimensional. Maybe they lack a left arm seamer like Trent Bolt used to. They don't have anyone of that quality, and I don't think they have anyone in this lineup who can bowl left arm seam. But I think barring that, and I was a little bit disappointed last time. In last Sunday's game with how timidly both Williamson and Mitchell batted. I don't think they would be as timid in the middle overs as they were in last Sunday. Maybe last Sunday's game they were probably just assessing the conditions, and they played safely for a bit too long. I thought that they could have attacked a little bit more, and put a little bit more pressure on the Indian spinners. I think they allowed Akshar to hit one length and 10 overs for 32 runs. I mean, if you allow Akshar Patel to bowl that way, then he'll be all over you. So I don't think the same will happen in this game. I think Shami against Rachin will be a fabulous matchup. Shami has a wonderful record bowling from round the wicket to left-handers. I think he got him out in the World Cup semi-final also at one day, got behind. So I'm looking for that matchup, Shami versus Rachin Ravindra.
Interesting, Nitin. Now the only thing left to be discussed about this New Zealand lineup is their pace bowling attack. Will O'Rourke is there. He could be a handful, and also then you've got Ben Sears just in case Matt Henry is not available. Do you see that as being the only problem area now for New Zealand? And Kyle Jamieson is there.
Yeah, Henry, because Chandresh, I mean, if you've seen the pattern throughout all the games that India have played here, uh, very funnily enough, the ball has moved more in the afternoon session, and the ball for the seamers, the ball hasn't moved much, under lights. I mean, I do not know why, and it's quite maybe because to protect against the heat. Maybe the curator have watered the wicket a little bit more, so that the wicket lasts 100 overs in such kind of heat. But funnily enough, the ball has moved in the afternoon session, and I think that's where Matt Henry picked up all those wickets. I feel that they will really miss Henry's control, and especially because he has a wonderful record against both Gill and Rohit Sharma. So Matt Henry, if he doesn't play, that will be a massive advantage to India already.
Final round of questions to both of you. Gigi, is Sunday a clash between India spinners and New Zealand's batting? Do you also see it that way?
Sorry, a clash between India's.
Spinners and
Spinners.
New Zealand's batters?
Well, that was the case with the semi-final also, right? That's what Steve Smith had told us, the Australian captain, that it's a clash between the clash is going to be decided in the middle overs. The battle will be all about the middle overs. The way Aussie batters play India spinners, and I think the same holds true. That's true for India's for in the final also. But then do not sort of take the New Zealand pace attack lightly, or their spinners. India do need to bat very well. They need to continue with the way they've been batting in that free-spirited manner. With Rohit providing those quick fire starts, and then the others, building up on them, so on it. And I think a lot will depend on how India bat as well, and how Virat Kohli continues his form in this tournament. He's had 100 and 184 run knock, and I think hopefully he continues in that vein. India's batting is also going to be a very crucial aspect of this whole contest, because if India suffer a collapse, then spinners kuch nahi kar payenge. Spinners need something to bowl with, and that has to be if they bat first, India will have to put up a 260, 270 total minimum, perhaps even more. If you take the match against Australia into account, 264 was never going to be enough. That's what Ravi Zada sir told me in the break. 270, 264 enough nahi hoga is pitch pe. So I think, but yeah, obviously I keep repeating myself that much will depend on Varun Chakravarti. Again, I don't think एक मैच से न्यूजीलैंड सडनली इतना सीख जाएगा कि उनको समझ में आ जाएगा कि कैसे खेलना है उनको. So a lot is going to depend on Varun and Kuldeep also, because they are two extremely unconventional bowlers whom New Zealand's batters would not have faced much of. The other two left arm spinners, perhaps शायद उनको सैंटनर को खेल के थोड़ा आइडिया हो गया होगा. And again, coming, I mean, why am I forgetting about Santner? Michelle Santner is currently possibly amongst the 2-3 best left arm spinners in world cricket. The excellent bowler with beautiful control over his line and length, has destroyed India last time when they came in the Test series at Pune. and could be an extremely dangerous bowler going into the final as well. So every India will have to be alert and will have to be put their best foot forward in every ball throughout the 100 overs. Otherwise, बहुत मुश्किल होगा. This team is very feisty and they have no pressure. इनका कोई 1 billion population नहीं है जो पीछे cheer कर रही है और वो कर रही है कि जीतना ही है. So they end up playing without pressure, and neither is there too much of a competition for places, which makes players pretty secure about their positions. So all in all, it's going to be and let's not forget Shreyas Iyer as well. He's somebody who's done well against New Zealand in ICC tournament, scored a 70 ball 100 in the 23 World Cup semi-final at Wankhede. So hopefully India, those who have done well against New Zealand in the past, India will hope that those players keep performing well, and in the final as well they perform well, and then I think hopefully the final should be India's.
Nitin, do you also hold the view that this could be a contest between New Zealand's batting and India's spinners?
Yeah, I mean, but New Zealand will have to bat a little bit more positively. I think last match they played 150 dot balls out of 300. So they cannot afford to play so many dot balls, because once Indian spinners bowl with that kind of control, then it will be difficult for the Kiwis to really assert themselves. And I also think that Glenn Phillips should not come with more than 10 overs left. I think he has this Liam Livingstone kind of dilemma where if he comes in a little bit earlier, then or maybe a Glenn Maxwell, he doesn't know exactly what to do. So I feel that Phillips should come in only after in the last, like exactly what happened in that semi-final against South Africa. He just teed off and got a brilliant half century, and actually ended up helping Daryl Mitchell. I think Daryl Mitchell has not really been himself in this tournament. Maybe he's had that stomach illness that he suffered, which caused him to miss one match. Um, I feel that Daryl Mitchell has not really played very very well in this tournament. Maybe it's time for them to look at another option, because let's not forget that the 200s that he got against India in the World Cup were both on very very good batting wickets. One at Wankhede and one at Dharamshala. So I don't think this pitch will aid his kind of game, because he doesn't have the game where he works the ball around in angles and gets the ones and twos. This is a large playing outfield where where you need a little bit more batsmanship over here, which I think that a better quality batter, maybe someone like a Chapman, could maybe do the job for them, or maybe a Devon Conway. I don't understand how they can keep someone like a Devon Conway out.
Interesting. On that note, gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining us today on this show. This was just a precursor to the big match on Sunday. We'll be back again tomorrow with a big build up to that final on Sunday, India versus New Zealand, to be played at the Dubai International Stadium. The Indian team is practicing today. The New Zealand team will also be practicing tomorrow. It's going to be a big, mega build up to this final. Gaurav, Sahil joining us from Dubai. Thanks a lot. Nitin joining us from Mumbai. Thanks a lot. And to all the viewers
Thank you.
joining us from all over the world on whatever platform you're watching us. Thanks a lot. Please keep liking, sharing, subscribing this platform everywhere that you are watching us, and specifically on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe, and do not forget to press the notification bell. Till tomorrow, take very good care of yourself. Good night, goodbye, and God bless.
Thank you.